In other places, training camp has already begun, including in Oxnard, California, and the Cowboys, where the health of quarterback Dak Prescott has been the story of camp after his season, of course, was cut short due to injury last year. Here's Jerry Jones on the health of his star QB.
I thought Dak Prescott had the best day of practice that I've seen since he's been a Dallas Cowboy yesterday. I thought that's the best day I've seen him practice. So that's encouraging.
Of course, he's not one prone to grandiose statements. So that seems like a big deal. Okay, let's assuming that there's really not much to comment on there. It's great that Dak had a great practice. All kidding aside, it's great that he's healthy, and that's all wonderful. Let's talk about these Cowboys, because everybody on this show but me loves them, and by that I mean thinks they're going to be great. Dominique, what is the single biggest concern for the Dallas Cowboys heading into this season right now?
I don't got any new breaking news for you. Their defense has been terrible as of late. That's the biggest concern. Can they figure out a way to stop somebody or at least slow some teams down? That was their problem last season and their problem towards the end of the season before that. As much as I love Dak Prescott on the field and appreciate that offense, it is hard to outscore everybody, and it's also hard to score touchdowns when you have terrible field position. And that is dependent on the defense and special teams. So if they can figure those things out, answer those questions, this team has a chance. If they can't, Dak's going to put up big numbers. That offense is going to put up big numbers, but they're going to be outside the playoffs looking in.
What do you think, Boog? That defense, everyone says it's the key. What do you expect?
Well, first of all, it's so good to see Jerry do a press conference without crying. I kind of got used to that last week. I'm glad Jerry's not crying. Number two, I agree with Nick from a defensive standpoint. Like, the defense is going to be terrible. I don't think the defense is really going to improve a lot because they got a lot of the same players. I hear your Parsons is going to be really good, but how do you help a defense? That means you got to run the football. So I think Ezekiel Elliott has to be better. He fumbled the ball a lot last year. He wasn't the same hammer in the backfield. So if you want to help a defense, which I don't think from a talent standpoint upgraded tremendously, how do you do it? Offensively, control the football, run the ball. So I agree with Nick. Obviously, the overwhelming issue is the defense. But how do you help that? I think you got to do it with a running back who we're paying $90 million, who fumbled the ball a lot last year in key situations. So Ezekiel Elliott has got to be a real big low-key concern in Dallas right now.
Nick, why the face?
Oh, because he called out how much my man is making and how little production he had last year. That hurt me in my heart. But I do think I'll push back a little bit. I agree with Booger. That you help out the defense by possessing the ball and getting first downs. Running the ball, I think, is part of that. But I'm not sure that that's the way the Cowboys need to do it. I think they need to get first downs. Getting first downs keeps the clock rolling, keeps your defense healthy. Scoring points makes the opposing offense one-dimensional, which makes it easier for the play caller. I'm not sure that Zeke Elliott is the guy. I know he lost weight. I saw him with his sexy abs out, but I'm not sure that he is the guy that they can put the whole offense on his back and he can alleviate the pressure that's on that defense. It's going to have to be Dak in the short passing game and Dak in the deep passing game with Ezekiel Elliott, honestly, as the secondary option on this offense, not the primary option in my opinion.
That really is the question here. The peak Zeke, are we excision? The two send a group message. We'll tell you exactly what it meant. Then, is this the most important player in the league this year? Could peak Zeke finally make the Cowboys super? And as we speak, one of our favorite sports is being remade forever. Can anything stop the changes? Those are the questions. We've got the answers as we get up with you starting right now. On a Monday from the Seaport, delighted you've chosen to get up with Greeny and Graziano. And look who's here. Dominique ready to go. Booger McFarland is ready to go. We are going to be jam-packed because tomorrow is the day that we've been waiting for, it seems like, the entirety of our lives. Packers training camp opens tomorrow, which will provide us our first official indication as to where things stand with Aaron Rodgers. Now, over the weekend, Rodgers and Davante Adams took to Instagram, both posting this at the same time with no message. They both put up there these pictures, the legendary Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, evocative, of course, of The Last Dance. But what it does is it invites all of us to speculate as to exactly what it means. And so the first of us to get a chance to do so is Dan Graziano. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of what's going to happen this week and what it all means, I just want everyone to, what do we think that meant? What was the Instagram post? What did it mean? What are they trying trying to say?
My best guess is that they're saying, hey, we got one more year and then we're out of here, right? And Davante Adams has 1 year left on his contract, and Aaron doesn't want to be there, but he might not have any options, at least for this year. So that was my first guess, but it's a guess. All we've got is informed speculation. That's the best we've got is informed speculation, and some of it isn't even all that informed.
That's what I was going to say. I think that's being kind to the speculation, but no one can suggest this is being overblown. And Aaron and they're doing this on purpose. Now they're having fun with us, Dominique. Let's psychoanalyze that. Aaron Rodgers is just enjoying this. He's got one more day to do it. What did that post mean, Neek?
Oh, it's fantastic. I think Dan's probably right, but I also think that we can roll this all the way to the current day. I'm not so sure that Jordan or Pippen are close pals at this point, so are they like foretelling some sort of distance, 20 years, 2 decades away beef? Either way, the Last Dance, they won the championship in the final season, and then everyone went their separate ways. So maybe it foretells some positive things for the Packers. Maybe they'll get one more season, and then they'll be okay with Aaron Rodgers when he decides to go elsewhere. And apparently, he's going to take Adams with him, or Adams is going to go to another team. I guess in the Last Dance, Pippen stayed, right? Didn't Pippen stay?
No, Pippen left. Everybody left. The only person who came back the next year was Bill Weddington, and that didn't go so well. So let me come to you, Booger McFarland. Come on, you've always got insight into these sorts of things. Social media is your bailiwick. What are Rodgers and Adams trying to tell us?
Greeny, I don't have the slightest idea. I'm going to leave the psychoanalyzing to you and Dominique. I'm not even going to try to guess. Here's what I'll say. Right now, we know they're teammates, so maybe it's just teammates, having a little fun with us, kind of fist bumping. Other than that, I'm not going to go deep into this social media and psychoanalyze. I'll leave that to the professional psychiatrists on this show, Michael Greenberg and Dominique Foxworth.
That's correct. It's our favorite thing to do. We just psychoanalyze from afar people that we barely know. Okay, so Graziano, then let's get back to the business of it here. All kidding aside, tomorrow is the day that we really finally start to get some answers. What do we know?
I think there's two strong possibilities that kind of stand out. One is what we just talked about, right? Like they redo Aaron Rodgers' contract so that there's only 1 year left on it instead of the current 3. They give him an out after this year. They promise not to franchise him, and then he gains some control over his future. I'll come back for one more year, try my best in Green Bay, and then I get to decide what happens. The other possibility, and I don't think it can be ruled out, is that Rodgers retires like Carson Palmer did once upon a time when he decided he didn't want to play for the Cincinnati Bengals anymore. And ultimately, the Bengals did trade him to the Raiders, and he got what he wanted. So I think that possibility still exists. You asked me to handicap it. I ask other people around the league to handicap it. I don't think anybody knows but Aaron Rodgers and possibly Davante Adams what's going to happen tomorrow when the Packers report. I'm eager, like everybody else, to find out.
Well, I mean, even though we understand the dynamics at play here, just hearing you say one of the options is Aaron Rodgers retires still does send a little bit of a chill through us. So, Booger McFarland, what do you expect? Tomorrow is the day. Give me a little crystal ball. What do you expect to happen?
Well, Green, I don't think he's showing up. And let's just look at the clues that have been left all offseason. Shefty recently reported that there was a 2-year extension that would have tied him to Green Bay for 5 years that would have made him the highest paid player in football. Nope, don't want it. Turn the money down. So, Greeny, it's not money, okay? So what is it? To me, it's about respect. And have the Packers done anything to get the respect and the trust of Aaron Rodgers back yet? No. So therefore, why would he change what he's been doing, which is not showing up? So here's the only insight I'll give you. Based on what I know, based on the clues that Aaron Rodgers has left this offseason, I do not think he's showing up. And I think withholding his services is the only thing he can do right now, and let the games begin tomorrow morning. You, Dominique, everybody's going to psychoanalyze every moment that he's not there. Now, that's what I'm here for. I'm here for him not showing up tomorrow.
Nick, you're nodding along.
I'm with Booger. I'm here for him not showing up, but I do think this is where our psychoanalysis kind of is of value, because the post suggests that he's coming back to me. Like the Last Dance is about dancing one more time. The one thing that you can draw out of this that we couldn't have a couple days ago is it seems to me that Davante Adams and him are on the same page. So before we thought maybe Aaron comes back and restructures the deal for one more year, now it feels like the two of them come back together, and wherever they go from here on is going to be a package deal. So, Booger, I know you brought the Louisiana out of you in the first question. You said you're not finna analyze or psychoanalyze these Instagram posts. I think it's time that you start, because there's some information deep inside Instagram if you're willing to look.
Look, we are one day away, Booger and Neek and everybody, from something that maybe one of the biggest stories that we've ever seen in pro football. This is a guy in Aaron Rodgers, you could argue, had the best season that any player in the NFL did a year ago. He was the MVP, and he may be one day away from retiring or